Okay, think I am live again. Welcome, guys. I'm just kind of setting up my camera again, making sure you can see me. Starting to let people on, welcoming people. Start welcoming everyone. I've had so much fun doing this Wednesday and last Friday. Welcome back, a lot of you. Hi, Luke. Hey, this is for Luke. I have this present for Luke, Allie. Luke's Lane for his room. I know that's a shout out to the Allies. Hi, guys. Welcome. Just kind of getting everything ready. I am going to actually test the camera to make sure that the tripod, I'm going to move it carefully. Okay, that was not carefully. That can go on my bloopers reel later. Okay. Quarantine bloopers. Okay. E-learning bloopers. All right. There we go. That's hilarious. Sorry, everybody. Anybody who just got dizzy from me dropping the phone from the tripod in my test run. What's everybody been doing? Hi, everybody. Hi, Sam. Hi, Emily. Hi, Sean. Hi, Sarah. Oh my goodness, this is so fun. Hi, Tina. Oh, there's the loves. Oh, Rosie. Hi, Rosie. I missed you too. Hi, Billy and Brady. This is so fun. Nora, Katie Rose. Welcome, guys. We're just kind of waiting until it's 12:30. Mia, what is our time check? 12:27. We have a couple minutes just welcoming people. And I have a fun project today. We're going to be using all 7 elements of art. Very exciting. And it should be a fun project to do too, so I'm excited about it. And it's going to be, start thinking about things right now. If you're waiting, start thinking about things that describe you, things that, words people might use to describe you. Oh, Crafty Gal. Hello, welcome. I was looking for you. Hi, Sophia. So fun. Okay, great. We have a lot of new people this time too. Actually, in the past week, we've had people from like students all over. We had people in Maine, Florida, Kansas, California, Texas. So that's so fun. Hi, Miley. Hi, Hunter. Hi, Nina. Oh, Nina's an artsy. Love that. All right, this is fun. Hi, Natalie. Natalie is also an artsy. I love this. This is so great. So, guys, we're going to wait maybe like one more minute, and then we're going to get started. And hopefully you're kind of gathering your materials, getting your space ready. I would love to know what your workspaces, what your e-learning spaces are like. Are you working at desks? Are you all working together? Is all your whole family have all their computers set up at the table together? What's happening? Mr.A has a corner desk in our living room right now. He's loving his window corner office. Hi, Luke. Who else is here? So fun. Sorry, when I get so close, I have to read what people are saying, and which is my favorite part, honestly. It's so fun. Hi, Nathan. But it's super little for me to see. Okay, guys. So remember, to kind of get all your stuff together, and I'm going to show you right now what we're going to do today. We are going to, with a piece of paper and some markers or pencils, crayons, and the more materials you have, obviously some of you have super fancy stuff at home, and I'm going to show you some of those ways you can use those too. But honestly, you can just have crayons and pencils. And if you even had markers, would be great. But other than that, you can get as fancy as you want, but you can stick with the basics too. So we're going to do an I am piece of art, an I am masterpiece. So things that I would say, words that would describe me. So example, Alia started making this example for me last night. And she was describing me. So she said kind, artistic, and creative. She also did an amazing job. So shout out to Alia for helping her mom. Love that. And I'm going to show you, we're going to do all the 7 elements of art. We're going to use line, we're going to use shape, color, Does anyone know some of the other ones? Here's some answers, people. Let's see what's happening. Value, form, doing some waves to the waves. Hi, guys. And texture. So I'm going to show you different ways to use all of those different elements. All the elements are different attributes or different things that make art. So we're going to use all of those today. And let's get started. All right, so guys, I'm going to move the camera. So for those of you who just saw my other fancy skills, you may want to close your eyes for a second. Hi, Lily. Switching. Hello. After this, I can't really see the comments. I'm going to make sure that... Oh, my goodness. Should not have put on lotion before class. Ms.A.'s hands are slippery. Sorry, everybody. Mimi, help me. I can't get it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, that's definitely going on my bloopers. Okay. That's coming soon. Director's cut. Art class with Ms. A. Is that good? Maybe a little closer. Okay, I'm going to try not to drop it. Sorry, everybody. All right, hilarious. That's so funny. Okay, I love that. Okay, so guys, what we're going to do with using all 7 elements of art, we are going to make a masterpiece, a piece of art, and we are going to be using words that describe us. So in this one, it says kind, artistic, and creative. In this one was one that I just did my name. You could do something as simple as your name. I did Lisa Maria. That's my middle name, for those of you who didn't know. And Arrogant. So Lisa Maria Arrogant. Okay, so I just did my name. And if you can see my letters of my words, or in this case, my name, separate the space and break up the space into different shapes. Now, I saw someone was asking, how do I get there? Yes, thank you, Val. Go to my story and click on the top little circle, and there's a little button that will say play. So if you can't get on, but you could see this, hit that little button, people. Get on with us before we start. Now, this one has no color, but you can see I wrote out love is love. And I separated it first with lines, which is the first element of art we're going to use. So go ahead and get a piece of paper, if you don't already have one. And I'm going to show you this actually really quick before we really start. Some of you who have fancy materials or different color paper, if you have things like construction paper crayons that can color on construction paper, or oil pastels, you can do the same thing with a darker piece of paper and those kind of materials and have a really cool effect. Or chalk. Sometimes some of you have like a chalk pastel or an oil pastel, and then you would write the same way I'm going to show everybody in a minute, your letters of your different words, and then those are going to fill up your space and create shapes. And then you could add color with different kinds of materials that would work on a darker paper. But because most of you have a lighter paper, I'm put that to the side. And I'm going to start on a white piece of paper. And you can start with a pencil if you want to, especially those of you who are perfectionists. I know a lot of you are, and that's fine. But I'm going to actually just go right to marker so to make sure you can see from the camera, and just so it doesn't take as long while we're doing this little lesson. Okay. So now I'm going to read some comments real quick. Do you write it backwards? Hilarious, Teresa. No, you do not have to write it backwards, unlike the printing lesson. But it probably, I forgot to tell you, it is probably looking backwards to you because of the camera. But when I see this K, it's looking regular, but to you it's looking in the reverse. So the camera does that, as well as our lesson on Wednesday when we did the printmaking and we pulled the print, it went in the reverse. which is why we had to glue our collagraph letters the opposite way. But in this case, you're just writing it regular. Do not write backwards. That would be way too confusing. Way too confusing. So the first thing I'm going to do is break up my space with line. And line is when 2 points or 2 dots connect. So I'm going to go ahead and make a line. And the line I'm going to make is a wavy line like this. And it's just a free form line. You don't have to, you could make it wavier if you want, if you're really fancy, or you can just do a regular wave. And I'm going to do a second one because I want to break my space, my paper, into 3 pieces, okay? So, or 3 sections rather. So I'm going to do that too here. And now by drawing a second line, I have 1, 2, 3 sections. Perfect. And if you haven't started, you can start with me. I'm going to show some of the techniques on this one and on some others I have here. But you won't necessarily have as much colored by the end. Maybe you will. Maybe you're one of these super fast designing fools, which is okay too. All right. So if I wanted to write, now before I start writing my letters, start thinking about, if you haven't already figured out what you want to say about yourself. Some people are also super fancy. I saw some that were like poetry. So to your writers out there, maybe you could write some kind of, beautiful message or poem that you could use all of those letters or all of those words to fill your space. But some of the examples I saw are like, I am unique. I am fun. I'm smart. I'm musical. I'm a creator. I'm positive. I'm a lover. I'm neat. I'm a cleaner. I'm kind. I'm artistic. I'm creative. So anything that might describe you, you're going to start filling in. So, and if you are someone else who just wants to do cool, positive words, that's totally fine. If you're someone who's a writer and you're going to write some beautiful poetry, go for it. Do it. Let's do it. So now the main thing when you're doing this, if you look here, the letters, when you write them, fill in the entire space. Now, if you're someone who wants to write just letters like this, that is okay too. You don't have to make it a block letter or a thicker letter. But you can. But if you do it like this, you still have created those separate shapes that we're later going to put patterns and textures in. Okay? But if you want to go fancy, first let me show you this too. Don't forget this one that I did with just my name was with those skinny letters too. I literally just fill in letters and then I broke up my space by doing that. Okay? Which you can do. But if you want to get fancy, why not? Then you can go ahead and make a thicker letter or a black letter or a bubble letter, but make sure that it fills in the space. So if I was going to do like this first same word, kind, just to show you, I would go ahead from top to bottom. As soon as I get from the top of my paper to that line, I stop. And if I want to make it black like this, I need to come up there. Now, if you want to write this in pencil first to ensure that your lines are in the right spot, you definitely can. You just want to freehand it like that, go for it. Now here, I did the eye. Remember, Alia did this one, so we're just copying Alia right now. I'm just doing this one. So I'm doing an eye. And the letters can touch, which looks really cool. They can also be completely separate. If you look on this one, the letters are not touching at all. But on this one, the letters almost overlap or touch each other. And that's cool too. So either way is fine. So hopefully right now, you are writing some of these positive, awesome messages about yourself. So now I want to know what you're writing. Tell me, everybody. Start posting me what you're doing. What kind of words are you describing yourself as? I could think of some awesome words that describe you guys. Let me think here. Let me finish my N. So there's my N. Not as nice of an N as Alia's N, but that's okay. Let's see, me too. Who's doing one? Artistic. I love that. Yes, you are, Sophia, artistic. this girl who draws, who is that? I love that. You're artistic too. That's Haley. So fun. Oh, hi, Zarin. Your guitar or your ukulele playing and your songs and your music are outstanding. I am obsessed and love everything about you. Keep doing what you're doing. Katie, that's crazy. I love it. I love it. Nice job. That's a shout out to the Webbers over there. All right, now I'm going to do a D. She did her D straight. I probably would have done it rounded, but I'm going to do it the way she did it, just so you can get the idea. And so now I filled in the word kind. Okay, so now I've created shape, which is the second element of art. First we did lines, and then we did shape. And shape are flat enclosed areas that are two-dimensional. That means they're flat. They have two sides, like a piece of paper. Sometimes they're geometric. They can be measured. Sometimes they're organic, more like nature. But right now, after our line, we created shape. Then we can start talking about, after you finish your three other words, I'm not going to finish all of them right now. I'm going to let you keep going. But I'm going to start showing you some of the other elements that you can start adding. But you need to finish writing your three words, or just one, and keep watching with. Maybe you're still thinking. Maybe you're still thinking about what yours is going to be. Okay, so now you can see that Alia filled it all in with all these awesome different patterns. Some are solids, some are patterns. Remember, a pattern is when you're repeating something, some type of repetition. And in a piece of art, we usually want to have some kind of repetition, whether you use the same color somewhere else in the artwork, or the same pattern, or the same type of line, or the same kind of brush stroke. So we are going to create some texture too on this. I'm going to show you, for example, if you want to fill in some of your patterns or colors with a texture, and texture is another element of art. Okay, I just found things around my house. So I actually had some avocados in this netting, and I had some packaging, bubble packaging. And Mimi, will you grab me a piece of cardboard over there too, maybe? Mimi's my sidekick, Mimi's here. Shout out to Mimi. And thanks everyone for all the birthday wishes on Wednesday for me. Oh, that was nice. And Claire, if you're here, I saw it was your birthday too. So happy birthday, Claire. Okay. Somebody else might be having a birthday too, so happy birthday to you as well. So now what we're going to do is show some textures. And if you had some of those naked crayons, these naked ones, the crayons that have no paper on them, if you had any of these from last time or still have them around or can peel an old crayon, you can take something from around your house. I found these things just in my kitchen, but you could find things all over your house that have texture. Do not get crayon on the wall. Thank you, people. Okay, so I'm going to take the side of my crayon and maybe I'll start filling in one section with a texture. That's for my avocado bag. This avocado texture, very nice. And I could also, if I wanted, maybe overlap the color just to have a deeper color or a different effect. Ooh, I like that. Very nice. And because I just talked about repetition, I might want to use that somewhere else on this artwork. And I think I'm going to do it in creative. I'm going to do it in the eye. And I'm going to try to be careful about it because Alia did such a nice job. Okay. Make my eye that way. And then I'm going to overlap my same color again. So I have that cool effect. Oop, I went a little in the other color, but that's okay. We won't tell Alia unless she's watching. She saw it. Okay. So I can start adding different patterns. All different kind of patterns. Diagonal lines, wavy lines, drippy lines, zigzags. What are some of people's favorite lines? Obviously, my favorite line, I think, is a zigzag. A lot of people like the loop-de-loop. Different patterns like donut kind of sprinkles, rainbows, checkered, tie-dye, any kind of pattern, maybe just black and white, like a Zentangle. Zentangles are fun, where you're just kind of doodling, just like you made in your notebook at school when you're not listening to your science lesson and you're drawing in the corner of your notebook. And you're just kind of peacefully doodling or drawing a Zentangle. So some kind of repetitive, cool kind of little design, similar things that could be anything that you created. So we're going to keep going. And I'm going to also show you that you can add weight to the line. So I made a copy of Alia's artwork before she actually started adding some color and patterns, so that I would have just a black and white line kind of drawing of her artwork. So this is what she did first. So after you have something like this, where you have the 3 different words, you are going to start filling in texture, color. Color is our 4th element of art, and color is probably one of the most important ones. It's a dominant one for sure. And color is created by light. So when you see color, sometimes you can see shades or tints. You can see intensity, like is it brighter than another color? And I'm going to show you first, once you have the lines like this, if you want to add some heavier weight to a line. Maybe you want a line thicker, meaning the weight, like it seems like it dominates. It's a little bit stronger of a line. You can either take a marker and thicken it, or take a fatter marker and actually start changing the weight of different parts of your I Am masterpiece. And you can pick and choose. You don't have to do all of the letters, but maybe I like it thicker. If you notice on this one, I started changing the weight of kind already, but I haven't changed the weight of artistic or creative. And you can almost see that kind stands out more. Sometimes you want it to stand out more. Sometimes you want something to sit back a little and not just be like, hey, what's up? I'm in your face. Maybe you want it to kind of sit back. So if you want to do that, it depends. You might change the weight of the line. Here I'm going to start doing it just to show you a little more of the difference when I add a thicker marker or just color in a space, a fatter line, and start to see, actually let me do this section too. Start to see the difference of the A and the R compared to the rest of the word. So that's something fun you can do. And you can change the look and the effect of your artwork just by the weight of the line. I also took a marker and went around the outside edge of my paper almost to frame it. I'm going to show you that now. So you can totally take your marker with something underneath. Make sure that you have paper or a placemat or scrap paper or whatever underneath, because you don't want to get all these marker lines on Mama's table. That won't be good, people. Don't do it. Okay, Mia, can you start telling me some things people said words they're doing? I'd like to know some. I'd like to know. All right, so see this? How I'm going right around the edge? The difference between this side, okay? It really makes it pop. So I personally am going to just go around this whole outside edge just to show you. And you see I'm using the paper underneath because I'm taking my marker and I almost have it tilted. And I'm going right on the edge, but part of my line is ending up on my paper underneath. And that's why you need to be really careful when you're doing this, so that you're not, to make sure that you don't get any kind of marker or anything on the table. That's not good, people. Not good. Don't do it. Don't try this at home. Okay, so now if you go back to here, we're going to do value, which is the next element of art. So there are 7 elements of art, remember. Who wants to tell me some of them? Go ahead and list some of the ones that you may remember that we've already spoke about. First I want to show you just on a piece of paper. Well, actually also, is anyone doing one of these IM pieces, masterpieces on a darker piece of paper with some kind of other, like with oil pastels like I showed in the beginning, or those construction paper crayons, and coloring in patterns and designs in there? Because I would love to also know all about that and see them, because it gives a completely different effect, although this is not colored obviously yet. But when you color with pastels or something, let's see. Let me grab a pastel. If I started coloring in this, something like this, you get a completely different effect than you would with a marker or a colored pencil. What is, or what are some of the media you guys are using? Remember, media is plural for your art materials, like what materials, and medium is one individual art. So this would be, or material. So this would be, if I was only drawing in black Sharpie, my medium would be Sharpie or marker. But if I used oil pastels and paint and colored pencils, then I'd be doing mixed media, because media is the plural for all the different materials and all the cool art supplies that you're using. Okay, so for value, let's think for a second. If we were, just to show you, just if you only had a crayon, the darkest value, so it's the lightness and darkness of an object. So if I was to press my crayon really hard, like this, that would be maybe the darkest value I can get with this crayon. But if I gradually lighten the pressure of my crayon, like I just did here, I just changed the value. And the value are the different degrees of lightness and darkness. Okay? And the difference between them is called contrast. That's a little more fancy than we need to be right now. But value is the lightness and darkness of an object. So don't forget, when you're adding your colors and your patterns, that you can definitely just change the value of something. You can do that with a marker too. And I'm going to show you actually a trick we learned last week with a marker and a paintbrush and some water. So we can do some cool value with that. So in my, I think in my N, I'm going to take my marker. This is a water-based marker, not a permanent marker for this. You need to have a water-based or washable, water-based kind of marker for this. And I'm going to just color in part of that N. And if you don't have watercolors at home, if you have them, you can just use your watercolors. If you have these fancy, these things that are awesome, these cool like paintbrush tip pens, those are outstanding. You could add color with that, of course. But for everybody who just has markers and some water, you can take a little bit of water with your paintbrush and add it into it, and what's going to happen is that pink will slowly start to bleed, because it's a water-based marker, and it's going to give it a nice sense of value, the lightness and darkness, but it's also going to give it a cool kind of watercolor effect. And you could also take another marker or the same one and kind of go into the wet marker and add a little bit, and then maybe a little more water, kind of bleed that just a little bit. So now I have a cool kind of watercolor effect happening there. And I think I'm going to do the letter E down here the same way, so that I'm doing that repetition I was talking about, repeating, creating some kind of sense of unity. Okay, so it's connected. Now, what are some other things people have said, Mia? Can you tell me some fun facts while I color another one? Fun facts. She said no fun facts, people. Want some more fun facts. How's everybody doing on theirs? What materials are you using? What words did you use to describe yourself? Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing to get that watercolor effect without my paints. And I'm just going to take a marker again in my E, kind of around the outside edge, neatly kind of staying in there. And I'm going to go ahead and take that water with my paintbrush. If you don't have a paintbrush, obviously you have water, but if you don't have a paintbrush, you could just use a wet paper towel or your finger. Your finger could dip in the water and kind of start spreading it as well. If you do that, make sure you have a paper towel so that you don't walk around with marker fingers all day. Marker fingers. Okay, so I'm just kind of adding another little bit to create more value in there with this other marker because it's going into the water, which is allowing it to start to bleed and give that really cool paint effect without paint. Snap that cap. Snap that cap. Make sure you're snapping your caps because we're going to be using a lot of markers, guys, and we need to keep them going strong. Okay, so now we've talked about line. That's where we connected 2 points. We did shape. When we started creating the letters, we were either created shape just by drawing a letter. We created flat enclosed 2-dimensional areas, which is what we did here. Or some of you got fancy and started writing either block letters or bubble letters, but you made sure to stretch them so they went from the bottom of the line to the top of either the next line or the paper, so that you created actual shapes. Then we started adding color, and we did do pattern. Pattern's actually not an element of art, it is a principle of art and design, but we are using patterns too, of course. And we started talking about value, and that's when we did the lightness and darkness. And form, we did texture, and that's when we took like the avocado underneath the avocado netting and started doing some texture with our Naked crayons. And then the last one here is form. So some of you can try creating form with some of your patterns and designs. So form is when something has, let's draw a box. Okay, a square. There's a square. That's our 2-dimensional shape. And when we start to make our diagonal lines coming out like this, we've made it 3-dimensional. Mine's a little off, but that's okay. I'll just make thicker lines and no one will ever know. It's our secret, people. My box is a little janky. That's okay. And I should just grab a thicker marker and it would look nicer, but that's okay. Okay, so now it's 3-dimensional and now it's a cube. The cube is a form. So who knows what the form of a circle is? Everybody's hands are up. Everyone's trying to get a plus right now so they have the right answer. While we're doing that for a second, I'm going to add a little more weight, just like I was saying to my lines. Remember that? Okay. Is anyone trying to use a form in their artwork? Let's find that. Oh, round. Yes, it is round. Oh, but it is, hi Gia, but it is a sphere. A sphere. Yes. Oh, there we go. The Weber's got it. Smarties. It is a sphere. Good job. And then same thing like for a cube, of course, or square, of course, is a cube. Sometimes a triangle can either be a cone. Some people might be a pyramid. So every shape is flat, but forms are the 3D, the 3-dimensional, meaning that it has length, height, and width, and it can be viewed from all sides. It's not flat. Forms take up space and volume. Okay, Mimi, what's our time? What time? 1? Oh, okay, we're good still. Okay, good. So I'm going to check a couple more. I'm going to add a couple more textures and stuff going on. I also am going to add some oil pastels. Is anyone changing the weight of their lines? Does anyone have neon oil pastels? If I had a high enough pitched voice, I would say, ah. Sometimes I ask my students to do that. That's how happy that makes me. That's so pretty. Okay. And I think I might even do it with a texture. So I'm going to put down my texture again. And I'm going to go in between the D. Let's see if it works. I don't know if it's going to work that way. Maybe if I smeared it with my finger. Maybe not because it's not deep enough. Or maybe I needed this side. I still like it. I still like it, people. All right, I'm going to do another one here. So start filling in the different spaces. You can use solids, patterns, Zentangles, calming patterns. I'm going to also put some, no, I'm going to switch my color. I'm going to go green. Okay. Oh, maybe a little green here too, so that I'm repeating. Make sure that you kind of repeat. I want to know what everybody's doing, because this would be when I'm walking around and checking it out and getting all pumped up. But unfortunately, I can't. So if you wouldn't mind letting me know what's happening, what you're doing. I will say it is awesome how many emails and posts where you tagged, or you hashtagged art class with Ms.A, ms.a, so that I can see the artwork and other people can as well. And all the fun, nice emails from families and parents. Thank you, everybody. It's been fun for me to do it too. It's a fun thing to, what some people have been doing. What else? Like I want to play my guitar today. Reading, I know. Did anyone write I'm a reader as one of theirs? Anyone a big, what about a writer? What about a writer? I actually love writing. And let's see, keep going here. All right, you see what's starting to happen? I'm really just like filling in all my sections. Let me see if I can read some of these comments for a second. I love this art class. I love this art class too. Thank you. I will play my ukulele. I would love you to play your ukulele. Maybe next time we could even do where I split the screen and you play us a song, because honestly, it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen from a little person. I love it. Awesome. Good job. Becky's doing your name. Okay. Are you doing Rebecca or Becky? Hi, Eddie. Eddie's my hockey. Well, I got a few hockey guys, but Eddie's a hockey guy. So fun. We can say, oh, you know something else I want to give a shout out to? All the people who have sent stuff of like, have you seen where people have been doing, you know, like decorating their sidewalks with sidewalk chalk and making cool messages to people? And so I saw like Carter and Issa, they did that at their house, and their mom sent me pictures. So cool. Love that. The Manellas saw their cool window with their positive message words. So cool. Loving that. So that's a very cool thing. I love that. Like spreading art and different positive messages around, especially right now, which is is needed. So it's great. So kudos to you guys for doing cool stuff like that. Keep doing it. And I want to quickly review the elements of art, and then I have a challenge for you for the weekend. Okay. So line, remember we first started with our line. We also talked about weight of the line, the thickness or thinness. And line was connecting two dots. And then we did shape. When we broke up our space with our letters, we started creating shape. And shape was two-dimensional enclosed flat spaces, just with length and width. And then we went to color. Everybody knows what color is, but color, of course, is probably the coolest element of art because it's created by light. And actually, to the person on Wednesday who said art had nothing to do with science, I would like to have a debate about that at another time. But it's totally connected. Science and art are awesome, and they work together. Speaking of hues and color created by light. Anyway, and then value, of course, was the lightness and darkness of an object. Remember when we changed the pressure of our crayon. Value is the lightness and darkness. Form, of course, is when we did our 3D cube, our janky cube. Ms.A.'s sad looking cube. Sad guy. He should actually have a face. He should be like, I'm a very sad cube. He even has a tear. Poor little guy. And texture. Remember, texture is how something feels. So that's when we use like the avocado netting or cardboard or bubble wrap or different fun things around your house without getting anything on the walls. Thank you, people. And you created your 3 things, and I would love to see them. Make sure that you post them and or send them to me, message them to me on Instagram, or you can send them on email them to me. Hashtag art class at Ms.A on social stuff. And the challenge for this week, before I turn the camera, if you haven't seen this yet, it's cool, but I've seen it all over Instagram, and I'm going to try, took a picture so hopefully you can see. So it's a found object in your house scavenger hunt. So I want you guys, if you have time, like this weekend, and you're like, what should we do? Let's do a found object scavenger hunt. And you make a color wheel. So you're making a color wheel with all, basically, some people would just say, oh, the rainbow, which is true, but it's the Roy G. Biv. So it's, you have your warm colors, your cool colors. Another one that I saw that was fun, this is all just cleaning supplies, but they also made a color wheel with their found objects. Also, you can tell in this close-up video that Ms.A needs to go get herself a manicure, but she can't, so she's going to have Mia maybe do it for her. This one had a bunch of different ones, but I saw it with like Hot Wheel cars, just random things on your house, food, plants. But try this because I think it's super fun. And you can hashtag like found object color wheel. And try making a color wheel as a challenge this weekend with things you can put on your countertop. I'm going to start turning the camera to say goodbye to you all. And I'm going to try not dropping the phone this time. So I think I'm actually going to even do this because, like, my goodness, it happened twice, people. Let's just say it happened twice. But honestly, though, it's going to be found in my bloopers reel later. Okay. So, guys, thanks for coming today. I can't wait to rewatch part of it so I can read your comments because most of them I don't get to see while I'm doing this. I want to thank you all for coming and making art with us. This is the third time we've done it so far, and it's been so fun. Remember, you made an IM masterpiece. So mine's not even finished yet, but I'm going to keep going too. And you added all 7 elements of art. You did line, shape, color, value, form, and texture. Or you are still doing them right now. And please make sure to post your stuff. Share it with me because I love that. Try the found object color wheel scavenger hunt this weekend with your family. I think it could be a fun thing to do around the house. And sometimes you didn't even realize something was that color, and create all the values. Okay, so I guess that's it. Right now I'm going to try, though, to archive this video for longer. So I may be on trying to hit a different button than I have before, because it will right now archives for 24 hours on my story. You can click on it or have one of your friends if they forgot to watch it or couldn't watch it, or you want to look back later. But I'm going to try right now to hit a different button and we'll see what happens. We're going to try to save it for later. All right. Later, people. Thanks for coming. All right, let's try it.
I don't know how to do it.
Well, what's the regular way?
You press end. Press end.
And then what?
End video.
Click in?